Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Formula. This is week 17 of our spread pick show, where we go through our 5 favorite picks, including our locks of the week. Coming off of a Christmas slate. On the betting side, Nick did quite well there, 4-1, hit your lock.
Well done, bud. Good week.
Old Saint Nick crushed it on
We should have known.
Christmas.
We should have known.
we should have known it was your day to hit.
I thought it was
Right.
Saint Nick Foles. It was Saint Nick D'Angelo.
Nick Foles did help me out via the Chargers captain last night. So, it was just a gift that kept on giving.
All right. Well, on to the week 17 slate. We only have a few more weeks before the playoffs here. Coming down crunch time for some of these teams playing for playoff spot. So starting out on the early games for Sunday. Wait, is it on Saturday again, or is it back to Sunday?
No, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday,
Okay.
Monday again.
Okay,
But we have some Saturday college games, so there's still some football action. We'll be all right. We'll make it through.
Well, for Sunday, we got Panthers going to play the Bucks. Bucks minus 3-point favorites. Right now it's like looking like the Bucks are going to win the division, but I mean, a Panthers win here would make things pretty interesting to see who would win this division. Looks like Nick, you have a pick here.
Yeah. So I'm going to get the locks started off early in the show.
Oh, no.
So this is going to be the lock of the week.
All right,
for me.
Nick, start
Panthers.
over. You cut out. You cut out.
You totally froze the second you said, I'm going to get the locks early started this week.
This could be a bad
froze.
sign.
You guys gotta be kidding me.
Sign.
Nope.
It's like the
Swear to God.
It's like the football gods are preventing Nick from saying his pick.
Yeah, maybe you should flip
see.
your pick now, dude. That was some bad juju.
No. I'm sticking with it.
All right,
Staying
rerun
strong.
it. Run it back. All
right. My lock of the week, the under for the Bucks-Panthers game. Last week, we saw the Panthers put up a season-high 37 points against a Lions defense who had been pretty good, but didn't play that way on Sunday. So that was a little concerning. But I don't think the Panthers can replicate that offensive production against the Bucks defense, who's a little bit better and a more familiar division opponent. And I really like the under here, especially because the Buccaneers have only eclipsed 20 points in 1 out of their past 5 games. So bad. So they've consistently not put up a lot of points, and a lot of those points are even coming in the fourth quarter, last second drives by Tom Brady, which seems to be the only time he's actually looking competent. So division matchup in the playoff hunt, I like the under. It's going to be a close one. I don't really care who wins, so I'm just playing the points on this one.
I like
Interesting.
I like it.
Who knew the Panthers could put up that many points last week?
Yeah,
Sam
I think that's
Darnold-
got to be an anomaly.
Yeah, Sam
right?
Darnold's looked decent actually since he's got the in week 6 on. He's looked pretty good. But
I mean, when you run for 250 yards in the first half, I mean, you better win a game and put up a lot of points. I mean,
Literally
that's
all of that game on Red Zone was just like, oh yeah, Donta Foreman, 40-yard run. Oh,
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard, 30-yard run. Back to Panthers, another 30-yard, just nonstop big runs.
Vita Vea is going to have something to say about that.
he might
Bucks
be.
run D is much better than the Lions.
So they're going to make Darnold beat him, and it's not going to go well.
I like the pick.
All right. Well, next we have the Browns going to play the Commanders. Commanders, I don't think they're not eliminated yet from the playoffs, so they're still playing for something here. Alex, what do you got here?
Yeah, following Saint Nick over there, I'm going to take the under in this one at 40.5. I think the Commanders might be rolling out Carson Wentz again. I think
Why did they pull him?
it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
It was like he was playing
Heineke
terrible.
is definitely that team's quarterback. Whether or not he's better than Carson Wentz, that team definitely plays. It's very similar to a couple of games from now, which I'll talk about later. But that team, for whatever reason, just rallies behind Heineke. It works better with Heineke. Even if, I mean, I don't know if Carson Wentz is better than him, but at one point was. So, but I think we might see Wentz again. And the Browns still have not figured out their offense. Stefanski might be one of the worst play callers in the NFL. Nick, do they have an OC or is it him calling?
They have an offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt, the longtime Aaron Rodgers GOAT.
Does he call the plays or does Stefanski though?
I think it's Stefanski, but
Yeah.
I
Either
don't-
way,
I agree with
he
you.
threw the ball like 35 times in a game that had 20 mile per hour winds, was like negative 10 degrees at kickoff, and you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in your backfield. Like,
Yeah.
what are you
Completely.
doing? How do that was mind blowing. So I think both teams, and the Washington Commanders defense has been playing better since they got Chase Young back. And so, yeah, under 40.5.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand what they're doing. Our season is virtually over. Last week sealed the deal. We're officially out of the playoffs. So I think what we do as a franchise for the rest of the season is just try and get Deshaun Watson back in form, which is why I think we saw the 35 passes from him last week. I
There
expect
were a
that
few
to
drop touchdowns
continue.
I saw.
He what?
The few drop touchdowns, like why someone, I think I forget who it was, wide open, just dropped the ball. It was like a direct pass to him. And
Yeah.
then Peoples Jones had a touchdown that it was a dime by Watson, but he just dropped it.
Yeah. And Watson's definitely starting to look better. I think it's just hard to catch a football when it's like -9 degrees out. So
Yeah.
I'm expecting the Browns offense to be in better shape next week against the Commanders. I think they're going to still be passing a lot just because I think they want Watson in form, and you get to save your running back that you just paid, Nick Chubb, and kind of try and extend his career in these worthless games. So I think that's kind of the thing they go, and we know that Washington's pass defense is nothing great. So I'm going to throw the Browns in a teaser here. I don't think the 1.5 points is enough for me to feel comfortable about this bet. So this will be a first leg of a teaser where I'm going to add 6 points to the Browns, and then also going to give 6 points to the Seahawks in a close Jets game, even though they're rolling out Mike White there. So we'll get to that in a bit.
Actually, I was looking at this, and at 1.5, I'm just gonna join you here. Like, I'm gonna add a pick because this is like perfect for a teaser. The Commanders are a perfect team to tease against, as they're not a team that typically like blows you out or wins. They're always in close games. A lot of times they're losing those close games. Like 7.5 for the Browns here is like a gift in my opinion. So I'm adding this. Like I don't know how I looked that over, but yeah, I'm adding Browns 7.5 to this. So
Look at that.
I'm with you on
Teamwork.
that. Yep.
Teamwork teasers. Love it.
Teamwork teasers. And actually, the funny thing is, the other part of the teaser was also Seahawks plus 2.5 to up to 8.5.
Oh, there we
so,
go.
Yeah,
Team ride.
And we might have
Yeah.
to all ride that one.
yeah. Like I had, and the Seahawks in the teaser were part of my lock. I had it teased with another pick, so there's going to be 2 teasers that include the Seahawks because I do think the Seahawks are my favorite leg of the teaser. But so yeah, the Seahawks are going to be in 2 legs of 2 different teasers this week.
Very nice.
All right, on to the Saints versus Eagles. Still, the Eagles are, pretty likely to still be the number 1 seed, but it's not like locked in yet. The Cowboys could still, like, if the Eagles win one of their next 2, they have the 1 seed. But if the Cowboys win out and the Eagles lose out, they believe the Cowboys get it.
I'm not sure what the math is on that. 'cause
I
they
think it's
split their
something
game.
like
Yeah,
that.
they win the tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's something like the Cowboys
It
win
would go
out
to
and the
division
Eagles-
record because they
Yeah.
split.
And
the season.
technically, I mean, I don't know what the 49ers record is, but they might even be in
You still
the
got a shot at it.
conversation. So Hurts still, it's uncertain if he'll be back. It's possible, might not. So could be Gardner Minshew again. The Saints, who knows who's going to be healthy for them? As against the Browns, they literally had no one. They had no receivers. They had no secondary. They were all out. And yeah, so who knows if they're going to be back this game. But Corey, it sounds like you have a pick here.
I do have a pick here. And I'll be taking the Minshew mania if he's in. I take the Eagles -7, strictly just because how injured the Saints are. If you go through the injury report, Mark Ingram's been out, Jarvis Landry out, Thomas has been out.
Olave
Pete-
was out, Landry was out, Marcus May was out,
Yeah.
Lattimore's been out.
Yeah, I mean the team's just decimated by injuries, and
That's
now you go up
brutal.
against one of the best teams in the NFL right now. Even with, I know Jalen Hurts is a question mark, but I mean Eagles should have won that game against the Cowboys. They made 2 mistakes on back-to-back drives that cost them, and obviously the timing wasn't correct on some of those those RPOs that Minshew and Sanders were running, but like it wasn't like Minshew played bad. He played pretty well. The defense, when you get up short fields, I mean, it's hard to, stop a team from scoring. So I like the Philly Eagles here to cover this. The Saints are 1-4 ATS in the last 5 when playing Philly. And this game's on the road in Philly. So give me the Eagles to take that 1 seed. With a convincing win over here against the Saints. Saints have been banged up all year, so it's a pretty straightforward pick.
All right. Next, we got the Cardinals.
Wait, also, you guys like my T-shirt?
Oh,
Oh,
let's
I didn't even
go.
see
dude.
that.
Yeah, we got some merch coming.
Okay.
That's a crispy
go.
logo.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's a nice
Hell
little
yeah.
cotton tee here. So yeah, be up in the store here in a couple days.
Yeah, we got to create
Let's
the
go.
formula store here. All right. Next we got the Cardinals going to play the Falcons. 3.5. The Falcons are 3.5 point favorites. It's not, Nick, looks like you have a pick here. I'm curious to see what
In
it
the
is.
dumpster bowl. Let's
Dumpster
hear
of a
it.
game.
Yeah. I think we've all learned a lot from each other this year on betting. I think Alex is a perfect 100% for taking all the garbage time games.
Yo.
So I'm going to, take some of his magic there and apply it to this game. Both just really bad teams, nothing to play for. Backup quarterbacks galore. It's 40 points. What are they doing? Give me the free bet. I'll take the under.
Love it.
You
Love
can't
it.
say those words, Nick. You can't say free bets.
Free bet.
You saw
No,
what
this one's a
happened.
free bet.
No.
Desmond, who's it? Desmond Ritter versus Trace McSorley.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. They're not putting up 40 points. No way. Plus, it's one of
Fair
JJ Watt's last games, so I feel like, I don't know. Hopefully, he gets like 6 sacks, and it's just a slow, disgusting game.
Yeah. Maybe.
All
Could happen.
right. Next, we got the Bears going to play the Lions. The Lions, that was a big loss against the Panthers there to help them get into the playoffs. But they're at home here against the Bears. I'm taking the under here. This is the highest total of the week, and it's the Bears versus the Falcons.
Lions.
Bears versus the Lions. It's just I did this on it earlier. I forget what game it was, but it's just like when 2 teams like this. The Lions, their defense has played better, and last week was an exception, but their defense has played better, and the Bears' weakness is their run defense. Like, they're not that good against the pass, but they're better against the pass. I just can't take this is just way too high for Jared Goff versus Justin Fields, in my opinion. Like they like to run the ball. The Bears love to run the ball, slows the game down. I just don't see this going over 52.5 in this divisional game, second time they play. I believe this is the game that Fields ran for like 170, like almost broke the record last game.
Yep.
And, if that happens again, sure. He's running all over, but it's just going to eat more clock. I like the under here. Divisional matchup. 2 not great teams. So
It's pretty amazing what he was able to do with no weapons on the Bears. Like
Yeah.
he's throwing the ball.
I mean,
and it's like,
he's gonna be forced. He's gonna have to like just run the ball a ton. Like I don't even know who their top receiver is now. Like I'm pretty sure it's like Velas Jones at this point.
It is.
Yeah,
It sounds good.
I legit think it's Velas Jones as their wide receiver one.
I might take a St. Brown parlay here, both to score.
The brothers.
Brothers to score.
I think
Oh,
he's
that'd be kind
out.
of fun.
I think
Is he
St.
out too?
Brown.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's no
He
fun.
got rocked.
So that's what I'm saying.
Got
Like
destroyed.
it's just gonna force this game to be played at a slower pace, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
I think
Yeah.
that's a good pick. In the last 4 weeks, too, the Bears haven't broke 20
I
plus
think
points.
It's
So,
really funny.
I like
They've
that
like kind of been going back to their like first 5-week offense because I think at this point they don't want to risk Fields getting hurt
Yeah.
like, by overrunning him. Like there was almost 0 designed runs last week. I think there was maybe 2 or 3.
Mm.
And like I think which I think is the right move. Like we've
Yeah.
seen what he can do. He's done it week in and week out for like it wasn't just a one-off piece. And so now it's just and it's those losses are going to matter too. Like all the teams in the top 5 picks right now are all kind of bunched up there, like 1 loss apart or 1 win apart. And it's like these last 2 games could actually matter for some of these bad teams.
Yeah, I hope the Texans keep winning somehow.
Right? Same.
yeah. All right. Well, next we got the Dolphins. Tua in concussion protocols, like 6 concussion in the last 4 weeks or something like that. It's pretty ugly out there.
Scary.
I really like. There's no way he plays this week. It's possible he doesn't play the rest of the year. Like that's just so many concussions in a short period of time.
Scary.
Yeah, it is scary. It's crazy. But we got Teddy Bridgewater, who's a very competent backup, coming in against the Patriots. Patriots are 2.5-point favorites. They're trying to make both these teams like trying to get into these last few playoff spots. So we'll start off here with Alex.
Yeah, another under that I like here, 42.5. I grabbed that when the Tua stuff came out this morning. Patriots defense looked really good in that second half against the Bengals. That first half was very ugly, and then whatever happened at halftime, whatever Belichick said and or implemented at halftime definitely changed that. And we've seen it every week with the Patriots. Matt Patricia and who's the other guy, Joe Judge, splitting play calling duties has just not worked. Has not worked. And if the Dolphins don't have Tua, we've seen Teddy in this offense earlier in the year, banked on him kind of not being that much of a fall off from Tua, and he definitely was. And so I like the under here, 42.5.
Yeah, I'm with
All
you.
right.
I'm staying on the under train. I think I watched the Patriots game last week, and I swear to God, there was probably 25 3-and-outs in a row. It was like
It's bad.
I wanted to rip my eyeballs out. It was so boring. And then you throw in like that Mac Jones dirty hit at the end where he threw an interception and he's like chop blocking this guy running full speed. So I wish him nothing but the worst the rest of the season.
That was the first time doing that.
Minimal points.
No, he's got it.
I'm not going to stoop to his level for an injury, but I wish him a unproductive offense for the rest
He's
of the
getting
year.
a Grayson Allen level rap sheet at this point.
Yeah, for real. I saw some clips put together. He's got like 5 pretty dirty hits.
He's going to have a bounty on his head by
Right.
like these last 2 games. Like defenses are just going to they're in a circle. They're going to start talking like, hey, if he's taking cheap shots on us, fucking take
Light
him
him
out.
up. Yep.
I mean, that's
Call
what
up the old
Keep the
Saints,
penalty.
Greg Williams.
yeah.
Put the bounties out.
Well,
Yeah, I like the under in this game a lot, though. Teddy Two Gloves isn't that good. So divisional matchup, I even like it more.
Well, Teddy Two Gloves covers, and so that's why we're taking Teddy covers 2.5 against the Patriots. This is an offense, I would say, like as close to as you can get to like the 49ers, or sorry, not the 40, like a team where you don't need like some crazy good quarterbacks to run the offense. Like you see Brock Purdy in there, just the way the offense is run. Like you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who are extremely good after the catch. You just need to get it into your playmakers' hands. So Teddy Bridgewater against the Patriots. I haven't been on the Patriots all year. I don't think they make the playoffs. Their defense, I think, has been overrated all year. And I think Teddy Bridgewater will do just fine filling in for Tua here, and they'll get the job done and cover this. Probably win too. Like Tua completely collapsed in that. Like after that concussion is when he completely collapsed, throwing all those interceptions. Like he was absolutely on fire before that.
Yeah, he was.
And so, and if you saw it, it was all Jalen Waddle and Tyreek, like after the catch, like
80-yard touchdown run from Waddle. Just so fast. Just the two fastest humans on the planet on one offense.
Yeah. So Teddy, just get the ball into their hands and they should be fine. So next we got the Jets going to play the Seahawks. I mean, Nick and I, we've already said like this is part of our lock, right? Like we like the 8.5 paired with the Browns, 7.5 as in our teaser. But it looks like Alex, you also have a pick here.
Yeah. Grabbed this yesterday at -1.5, but I'll take it under a field goal at -2.5. Jets here in the Geno revenge game. I think the last couple of weeks, we've seen the wheels absolutely fall off of Geno Smith and the great start to the year that he had. And like I was saying earlier, or maybe even before we started recording, the Commanders rally around a guy like Heineke. The Jets rally around a guy like Mike White. Like, I don't care if I do think he's better than Zach Wilson at this point. I think most people would agree at this point. But even if like the first couple of games where it was like, I don't know, maybe he is, maybe he isn't, whatever it is, that team rallies behind him. You see the guys on the bus with like the Mike White t-shirts, like that, that means something. And with the defense as good as the Jets, still in the playoff hopes, still got contention in there. The Seahawks, I don't think are officially eliminated, but all but. I think the Jets go.
They still have a pretty solid chance.
Yeah, they got to get some wins.
Yeah, not after this week.
Well, after this week would be different, but
yeah. Jets -2.5.
Yeah, I mean, definitely agree with your Geno Smith lack of production comments, but I think that has more to do with his teammates being injured. You know, Kenneth Walker was out for a little bit, and then he came back, and Tyler Lockett broke his hand. So, you know, they just haven't caught a break. And the past couple of weeks, I mean, the only guys that are rolling out there that are significant is DK. So it's like defenses are like, all right, go lock him up, and then you're going to make Marquise Brown beat us. Like,
Goodwin.
That's not going to Goodwin. Sorry. Yeah. It's just not a formidable strategy to get a victory in the NFL. So
yeah. Essentially, the last playoff spot in the NFC is between the Packers, Lions, Commanders, and Seahawks, and they all have.
And we all know who's going to get it.
They all have about a quarter of a chance to get there. So,
okay,
you know, we'll see.
But this is in my teaser too. I like 8.5 points. I think they're both playoff contention teams, so I think it'll be a close game.
The Jets have less likely of a chance to make the playoffs than the Seahawks, in my opinion.
Yeah,
the AFC is tougher to get in. But yeah, I like the Seahawks. It's just the Jets with 8.5 points. This isn't just like the Commanders and the Browns. It's not a team that blows out teams, especially with that offense.
So is that Browns Seahawks teaser you're locked on, PB? Is that what that was?
Yeah, because there's another teaser that I'm pairing. Actually, no, so instead of the Browns, I'm pairing the Seahawks +2.5 with my last pick, which is the Monday night game.
Got it.
So, okay. But this is still one of my picks is Seahawks +8.5, Browns
Got it.
+7.
Got it. Cool.
All right. Next, we have 49ers going to play the Raiders, 6-point favorites on the road. Corey.
Chugga,
I
chugga,
mean,
chugga, chugga, chugga,
yeah.
chugga, chugga, chugga,
This
chugga,
is-
chugga.
This is a money train right now what the 49ers are doing. This is quite incredible. 49ers have looked great, if not amazing, the last 3 weeks.
Dominant.
Brock Purdy has played exceptionally well.
He's like
George-
Jimmy G, he's like a different bot. It's just the same guy.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
better.
He probably is better than Jimmy G at this point in time, but I don't know. I mean, Jimmy G's been to the Super Bowl, so but yeah, the Raiders are a terrible football team. I understand that game in Pittsburgh was, there's emotion behind it. It was a cold game. It was, bad.
It had
conditions.
the PB Jinx was on it.
The PB Jinx
Yeah,
was
all
on
of
it,
those
like,
things.
Yeah, there was so much stacked against the Raiders that night. But they still look terrible. I mean, Derek Carr reverted back to old Derek Carr. To like, even in the offseason when they were talking about should they just get rid of him? Should they, try to trade him? What should they do? I think it's very evident that he's not going to be a Raider next year. The way the season has gone is up and down, and then completely down. And the 49ers are one of the best teams in the National Football League right now. 6-0 ATS last 6. The Raiders though have been covering. They're 4-2 in their last 6. But again, I think this is not going to be close. I think the 49ers run away with it, and the Derek Carr led Raiders just make mistakes and end up crashing and burning. And yeah, so, and honestly, what's his name should be fired.
McDaniels.
He's not a good coach. Like he can be an offensive coordinator and be like, but leading a team, I feel like that locker is divided up there, and it's just not ending well.
Do you think
I
it's
mean, when-
Derek Carr? Because they probably have one of the best receiving cores in the NFL.
So
Like
Derek Carr,
Devontae Waller,
yeah.
Renfro, and Mac Hollins isn't even that bad.
Derek Carr threw more passes to the Steelers than he did to Devontae Adams in the second half of that game. It's
I mean,
Derek Carr.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like even the passes that were like thrown to Adams were just like out of bounds. It was so hard to watch that game.
What if Aaron Rodgers went there next year?
Where?
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
They're saying Brady a couple years ago was supposed to.
Yeah, they need a little bit
They-
more help on defense to win a Super Bowl. But
That would be sweet. Devontae and Rodgers getting reunited
Yeah.
in Vegas,
in Vegas. Yeah, thankfully out of the NFC North. Thank you. Please leave.
All right. Next, we got the Vikings going to play the Packers. 3-point favorites, trying to make their final playoff push here. Are the Packers? Do they have a losing record, or are they even right now?
Packers?
Yeah.
The Packers
They're
are,
losing,
I think they're
right?
back to 500.
Are they?
I think so. Let's check really quick here.
Well, because it's just like
They're
the
8-7.
Vikings.
I think they're 8-7.
No, they're 7-8.
Okay, so yeah, 7-8 losing against the Vikings. Kind of this line just shows you like how much Vegas think the Vikings are a bit of frauds. I know it's hard to play in Lambeau, but Packers 3-point favorites. Looks like you guys all have picks here. We'll start. Well, two of you. We'll start with Nick since you don't have a lock here.
yeah, I mean Vegas obviously hates the Vikings. For a team that has a couple losses, they're always the underdog at +3. It's crazy to me. So I'm going to keep capitalizing on their mistakes and add some insurance to my plans and bets here. Tease them up. It's going to be a close one in Lambeau. I'm excited to watch Justin Jefferson versus Jari Alexander, 2 amazing football players. They'll probably shadow him. So that'll be really fun to watch.
Didn't
But I
Jefferson
think-
go for like 160-2 his first game?
Yeah.
against them?
He might have been out at that point in the
Oh,
season.
yeah, that's true. That's
But I don't know. I think Vegas is like, oh, it's a big game for Kirk Cousins. He could play spoiler maker. Like he's probably going to blow it. So I think this is a Dalvin Cook day. We'll talk about this on our next show, but for DFS. But I'm excited to see what Dalvin could do in Lambeau.
All right. Corey.
Yeah, this is my lock of the week here. I am taking the Green Bay Packers minus the 3 here against the Vikings, who are the king of winning close games. If their record was flipped, and I think they set the NFL record for most wins by single possessions. They're 11-0 this year when that happens. So they're they're a team that plays games close and they've gotten lucky. But you're playing a very hot Packers team right now. They're looking to make the playoffs, and I think they still make the playoffs, and they cause some noise in the playoffs as well. This game's in Lambeau. It's different than playing in the Dome in Minnesota, where that was week 1. This is a different team. The wide receiving core for the Green Bay Packers is coming alive. I'm not sure with Watson what his injury is. I know he came out of that game, but I feel like if he's 80%, he's going to be playing this game. Green Bay is 4-2 in the last 6, covering the spread. Give me the Packers here, minus 3, and I'd actually take them to win this game by a touchdown too.
The funny thing is, I believe the Packers would be playing the Vikings in the first round of the playoffs. They would play the Vikings or the 49ers in the first round of the playoffs. So
it would only make sense for them just to beat the Vikings like 2 more times. Like I could see that happening easily.
Probably in a primetime game too. Primetime Kirk in Minnesota. Yeah, it is not looking good. All right, Alex.
Yeah, Corey, I like the pick here. Packers on a roll, but I'm going to take the over 47.5. I think both of these teams' defenses are pretty Swiss cheese. And I think both of the offenses have been rolling these last couple of weeks. Obviously, Minnesota playing close games like they do every week, but they're putting up points every week. And the Packers have quietly been putting up like 30 points a game, if not could have put up 30 points a game and like kneeled it out at the end of one in the red zone. So I think both of these defenses are pretty banged up, not great right now at this point in the year. Give me the over 47.5. Lock of the week.
Lock it in.
All right.
Lock it in.
Next we got the Rams going to play the Chargers. Chargers locked into the playoffs now, with that win. So they're 6.5-point favorites at home. Corey, what do you got?
So I'm gonna be taking the Chargers here. I liked them earlier this year to make the playoffs, and they're one of my favorite teams coming in here. And then even when they were struggling, it was like, oh, they're gonna make the playoffs, and it's like they have the firepower. They are healthy. The Rams, on the other hand, are still a JV squad. I don't know how they put 51 points against the Broncos defense that's supposedly pretty good, but obviously
they gave up. That defense gave up.
Yeah, they're like, we're sick and tired of this. I mean, this is I mean, for God's sakes, Baker was incredible, but again, the Broncos offense, Russell Wilson's terrible. Chargers at home minus 6.5. I think this is a pretty solid bet here. I like what the Rams are doing, but again, it's the Chargers. They're hot, and I think I know they're already locked into the playoffs, but they also want to improve their seeding if they can. So I will be taking the Los Angeles Chargers to cover 6.5 here.
I like it. I actually wish that I would have added this to my picks, but
Get them down to
I already have too many now. All right, last game of the week. Looks like we all have picks here. I'll quickly go first because this is just my lock pairing with the.
Why don't you wait till Corey comes back to do your lock, just for the videos.
Sorry,
Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
So, in addition to the Seahawks plus 8.5, I'm taking the Bengals Bills over 49.5. This game will be a shootout. It is the first time I believe Joe Burrow has ever faced the Bills. in his career, I believe, actually. And this game is just set up prime time to just be an absolute shootout. These quarterbacks, are a little bit, it doesn't matter how good your defense is, and both these defenses aren't elite by any means. So they should just, when you have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Diggs, Gabe Day, all these playmakers, it just sets up for like an absolute shootout. Love it at 49.5. This should definitely be higher than the Bears Lions at 52.5. This should be the shootout of the week and possibly one of the most entertaining games we've seen this year.
Agreed. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
This is game of the year potential for sure. Like the over pick, I'm going to go with Bills money line. They're currently sitting at minus 115 on FanDuel money line, even though they're favored by 1.5. Just not going to risk the point in a close one, in a shootout. I think the Bills, when they're clicking, are a half step above everyone else in the NFL. I think when the Bills are clicking, they're the best team in the league. The Bengals have been playing at that level, at that caliber, pretty much this whole year. Definitely these last 7 or 8 games that they've strung off wins in. But I think the Bills have that extra gear that no other team in the NFL does. So I'm going to go Bills money line in a fun one.
All right. Nick?
Yeah, I think Josh Allen could have an absolute field day, but I don't want to pick favorites in this one because it's too close to call. So I'm going to take a lot of points. I could see this even going to overtime, in which case I'm going to love the tease up action on this and take Bengals plus 7.5. So I think it's within, one of the last few scores of the game, and I don't think anyone is losing by more than a touchdown. So feels like a nice safe one to add to the teaser. So going to toss that in there with the Vikings one. But
Yeah,
I'm excited. Game of the week.
Yeah, there's definitely, it's probably gonna be, might be as good as last night's Monday Night Football game. We'll have to see. It's a week away, so
definitely the same caliber defense for the boys in blue, Colts and the Bills. Same tier, right?
Yeah, same tier. Yeah, I'm taking the Bills here. Taking the Bills minus 1.5. I'm not really that worried. Lionel Collins is out. Is he out for the year with torn ACL? Yeah.
ACL and MCL, he's done.
That's a huge hit. I understand the Bills defensive line isn't like the greatest, especially, they're without Von Miller, who was wreaking havoc this entire year. And he's also probably done for the season. Or he is done for the season. I like it, like we said, I think Diggs the last 2 weeks hasn't been that involved in the offense. I know against the Bears, he had like 3 receptions for like 40 yards, if that. No touchdowns. Like, I think this is a huge Diggs game. And you saw Joe Burrow looked amazing in that first half against the Patriots. Second half, he looked not very good. He was all over the field, threw a couple of picks here. Josh Allen is the better quarterback in my opinion. And this game, is being played. It is on the road. It's in in Cincinnati. I don't think that's a huge boost for Cincinnati. It's not like they have an incredible crowd there. They're like, it's not being played in Buffalo, but give me the Buffalo Bills here, minus 1.5. I can see them winning by a touchdown here as well.
Betting against the wagon.
Hey,
they're both wagons.
The Bengals have been.
Bengals are 7-0
against the spread.
Yeah, against the spread. The Buffalo Bills are 3-6 in the last 9 ATS, but they're 11-5 straight up or 6-0 straight up. This is basically
this game, right now everyone assumes it's one of Bills or Chiefs to be the number 1 seed, but the Bengals are still that third team, that sleeper that could legit get the number 1 overall seed, especially with a win here.
Them and the Niners are in the same spot.
They're a wild card team up there, right?
The Bengals?
Bengals are winning that.
Yeah.
No, they took
Bengals
the
are
division
winning,
lead.
They're winning the
right
division
now.
pretty easily.
They are winning the division.
Yeah.
Ravens
Like-
have fallen off the face of the earth.
The
Well, I
Bengals
know
are
that
I think it
11
comes
and
down to
4.
that last game though. Like
So-
they play the Ravens next week, and I think
That determines, yeah.
I'm almost positive, even if one of them wins and one loses this week.
No. If the Bengals like win this week, the Ravens would have to win this week to even have a chance at winning the division. If the Bengals win this week, the Ravens, yeah, they have to win in order to win the division.
I mean, they are playing the Steelers, so
And then it would come down to the final game. But yeah, I mean, the Bengals they legit could be the 5 seed or the 1 seed right now. Like it's there's a lot of playoff implications with this game. Buffalo could be close to sealing the number 1 overall seed if they win as they play the Patriots at home in their final game. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. We'll be back for our massive DFS slate breakdown. This might be one of the biggest slates of the year. No one's on bye. No Saturday games, massive slate. So we'll be back for that. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.